Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Missouri School Boards Association's Board Report for the month of February. We thank you for the opportunity to share some news and information during a few minutes of your board meeting. We begin with a look at what's known as competency-based education, the idea that students should advance in their education based on their mastery of skills and expectations, not based on seat time. A new statewide group called the Success Ready Students Work Group is studying the issue here in Missouri. That group is made up of educators, school board members, administrators, parents, and other stakeholders. One of the facilitators of the group is Dr. Pam Hedgepeth, and she tells us competency-based learning meets the individual needs of students.
So competency-based learning is really centered on student learning, and it is an ongoing process of having really clear learning targets, and then students and teachers and parents using assessment tools to really identify where the student learning is. And then where student learning is, then designing instructional practices that really meet the individual needs of students. It's highly motivating for students. It keeps parents and teachers and students very informed on where the current learning level is, so that the learning can be scaffolded and supported to really meet the individual needs of students.
Another facilitator for the project is Dr. Mike Fulton. He tells us the goal of the group is to develop a framework for the use of competency-based learning in Missouri.
As part of that framework, redesign the current state assessment system, including the MAP test, to better support students, educators, and inform parents on where their child is on their learning continuum and support them in their growth toward being college, career, and workplace ready. We also are going to have a component of this work that will speak to the need for flexibility by school districts who want to innovate in this space of competency-based learning and assessment.
The Success Ready Students Work Group will be holding a series of meetings during the coming weeks with the goal of having a framework developed by early May. We will be keeping you informed about this group's progress. Teacher recruitment and retention continues to be a major issue throughout Missouri. School districts were facing a teacher shortage prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, and it has only worsened during the past 2 years. The minimum starting teacher salary in Missouri is $25,000 right now, the lowest in the nation. Governor Mike Parson proposed raising that minimum to $38,000 during his recent State of the State address to the General Assembly.
Unfortunately, Missouri is currently ranked 50th in the United States for starting teacher pay, and half of our new teachers leave the profession by their 5th year. This is unacceptable, and we must do better. That's why we are proposing to raise teacher pay in every corner of this state.
Under Governor Parson's proposal, the state would fund 70% of the cost of raising the minimum teacher salary to $38,000, and local school districts would be responsible for 30% of the cost. There are many other issues being considered in the current session of the General Assembly that are of great concern to MSBA and school board members throughout the state, including the expansion of charter schools, making school board elections partisan, and moving school board elections to the November election date. As the legislative session progresses, we will keep you updated on developments again this year through our Legislative Voice newsletter sent to members via email each Friday during the session, our Twitter feed with up-to-the-minute developments, through critical issue alerts, and periodic webinars. We urge you to stay in contact with your legislators during the session and communicate to them the impact legislation will have on your school district. And don't forget, this year's MSBA Legislative Forum is scheduled for March 7th in Jefferson City. Check the MSBA website for registration information. MSBA also is pleased to once again sponsor School Board Recognition Week in Missouri, March 6th through 12th this year, as proclaimed by Governor Parson. It's a great opportunity for school districts and communities to recognize the work of school board members and the important role local boards of education play as leaders of our public schools. That's it for this month's edition of the MSBA Board Report. Thanks for allowing us to have some time at your board meeting, and so long from Columbia.